Hello, and for your delectation we have here St. Peter's Church in North Rauceby, just outside Sleaford. In memory of Mildmay W. Wilson, KCB, died February the 29th, 1912, erected by his brothers and sisters. William White, in his book of 1856, Lincolnshire, said that the Church of St. Peter at North Rauceby is an interesting structure in the decorated style, with a fine tower in the transitional style, crowned by a beautiful octagonal spire. And Pevsner, in Buildings of England, said that the church at North Rauceby is a church of moderate size but very beautiful, with an ashlar-faced, well-proportioned early English west tower. It's a building of Ancaster stone, parts of which date from the 13th century, and consists of a chancel, clear-storied nave of 3 bays, and 4 fine clustered column piers with nicely moulded bases, north and south aisles, south porch, vestry, and the west tower. The tower and brooch spire are late 12th or early 13th century early English, as is the south porch, but the rest of the church is somewhat later, probably around 1320 to 1340, the decorated period. In 1860, a lightning conductor was erected on the spire, providing a spectacle in the village when the contractors of the firm used a balloon to lift the weighted conductor to the top of the 180-foot high spire. During the period 1907 to 1909, the outside walls of the tower were pointed and a new upper floor put into the tower. This is a fine, clear story, spreading light onto the old roof timbers, one of which is carved 1831 by the church warden, dating from 1535 to 1536. This north arcaden aisle is dated from 1320 to 1350. The plaster was stripped in the north aisle when it was restored in 1865. in memory of George William Henderson, who was born the 10th of June 1854 and died 14th of December 1934, and who spent the last 12 years of his life as tenant of Rauceby Hall. There lies in the northeast corner of the North Aisle a 14th century memorial stone bearing the effigy of a priest in Eucharistic vestments and holding a chalice in his hand. In 1953 this was taken inside the church for safekeeping, having been out in the weather for over 100 years. The rood screen stair and upper doorway are still in a good state of preservation. At the southwest corner of the south aisle, a door leads to an unusual turret stair with a half-hip stone roof, giving access to a walkway for inspection of the roof of the south aisle. The altar furnishings at the end of the south aisle, known as the Lady Chapel, were restored in 1940. Here in the south aisle, there can be found in the east end a carved bracket with a canopy. There's an ancient arch of the founder's tomb enclosing a slab of freestone with the inscription, "William Frank of Rauceby, September 1385, which means the month before he could have been with King Richard II invading Scotland. A new chancel was built in the 16th century. In 1853, it was considered necessary to replace this 300-year-old chancel with a more ornate structure. This is the chancel we see today. The ends of the stalls at the south side of the chancel, which would have been reserved for the squire's family, are slightly raised. Here is a fine brass to the memory of William Starley, vicar, who died in 1536, when Henry VIII was King of England. This is a 15th century font which is in the Perpendicular style, octagonal, and each compartment is ornamented with rosettes and foliage. Thank you for watching this film of St. Peter's Church at North Rauceby in Lincolnshire.